Prime Minister Narendra Modi over there inspecting the Guard of Honor, also meeting a high-level delegation, the Qatari delegation. As we all know, the Prime Minister is currently in the Qatari capital of Doha. And of course, as we know, this is a very significant visit as it comes days after 8 former Indian Navy veterans who had been sentenced to death in Qatar on espionage charges were released by Qatar. And of course, India also trying to work out or strengthen the bilateral relationship it shares with Qatar at the moment. For more details, we also have Abhishek Jha joining me on the phone line. Abhishek, take us through what the Prime Minister's itinerary is going to be like. What's on the Prime Minister's agenda today?
Well, Prime Minister is going to have a very series of meeting here on, first, of course, he's going to have a meeting with the state of Amir, and then he will be departing from Qatar in the late afternoon. That will be in the time, sometimes around 5:30. But meanwhile, we know that the kind of guard of honor that is being extended, and according to Prime Minister of India, that is underlining the fact that India and Qatar, they have deepened their bilateral ties, especially since 2014. We have seen this ties growing deeper. There have been diversity in the ties from the energy security provider that Qatar has been to India in terms of LNG. The ties have now moved to defense, education, healthcare. Prime Minister Modi is now trying to push Indian fintech and Indian innovation industry to wherever he goes. So probably new avenues of opportunities will also be explored, while Prime Minister will be having a conversation with the Emir of Qatar. And the relationship in the 10 years has been growing steadily, especially in the wake of the crisis that the region is facing in terms of Red Sea crisis, supply chain disruption, and geopolitical tension in Western Asia. Prime Minister's role as a person who has a good relation with almost all stakeholders, be it Israel, Palestine, UAE, Saudi, Iran, that is very important. And these are the issues that are going to be discussed when Prime Minister will be having his bilateral talks with the Emir of Qatar.
Absolutely. Abhishek, also Prime Minister's visit is also a silent acknowledgement of his own gratitude towards the country for freeing those former Navy veterans, 8 of them that had been held by Qatar and in fact had also been pronounced on death sentence. Having said that, take us through how important that entire gesture was by the Emir of Qatar and what that now means for our own country.
So, Akanksha, when the same question was asked to Minister of External Affairs in the recently held press conference in Delhi, that whether the visit is happening just after the Navy persons have been released and that has a correlation, they said that the visits or the high-level bilateral visits are planned months in advance and weeks in advance. So, there is no direct relation. But since the visit is coming at a point when we saw these Navy veterans being released, and this is kind of high point of bilateral relationship. So, of course, there will be a gratitude from the Indian side that will be expressed to the Qatari side. We have seen Minister of External Affairs release also expressing their appreciation for the effort that the Emir of Qatar has made in releasing these 8 Navy personnel. We saw these Navy personnel themselves thanking Prime Minister Modi and saying that unless and until it was for the highest office and the Prime Minister Modi to have been personally intervened in this issue, they wouldn't have been here back in Delhi to their home.
Right.
So, that's seriously a high point of India-Qatar trust and mutual ties. That
Abhishek, in the last 2 days, we've also witnessed the kind of contribution that Prime Minister, of course, the entire country under his aegis has made as far as diplomacy in the Gulf is concerned. We've seen a broadening of our own bilateral relationship with several countries in the Middle East. But when it comes to India's diplomacy in the Gulf region, take us through how monumental it has been and how transformative it has been in the past few years, ever since Prime Minister Modi came to power in 2014.
Well, Akanksha, India's policy in West Asia, it has been very balanced, and that has also, and they have also tried to navigate the complex geopolitical dynamics of the region with so many stakeholders, they themselves being at loggerheads with each other. But India has maintained a very balanced approach. It has a good relationship with Iran. It has a good relationship with Saudi Arabia, and we know that Iran and Saudi Arabia, they don't have a very good relation. India has a good relation with Israel also. It has a good relation with Palestine also. And again, Palestine and Israel are, of course, warring side right now. So this is the kind of relationship that India has maintained. and it is well respected in the Gulf region. Also, we have seen Prime Minister being accorded highest civilian honor by several countries in that region, including Palestine, Saudi Arabia, and UAE, Bahrain. So this is also a personal touch that Prime Minister Modi has been able to give to India's West policy, where the Western region has not only been now the energy security provider, but they have accepted India's growing role and India's prowess as a geostrategic element is there. And India is also a net security provider, a provider of as a role of first responder. Also, we have seen happening
Right.
in the region of Gulf. So these are the issues that have taken center stage in India's Western, foreign policy in the recent years.